This is one of the open springs. You can see how hot. It's a cold day. On the cold days, we can see the steam rising from the hot water. A lot of visitors want to get in the springs, the hot springs, but it's just too hot. There are some bathhouses where they control the temperature, and most of the springs are capped, but this one is open. Nice view. We're across from the Arlington Hotel. I feel inspired by nature. I see fascinating patterns, even in a pine cone. I saw these while I was out today. When I was a kid, I did a science fair project on sedimentary rock. Here is a grand example. This is in downtown Hot Springs next to a parking lot. The layers of rock, the strata, show how these mountains were formed. And they inspired my Strata Pendants that I make from porcelain. I'm in my studio now and it is cold, but I'm going to make some Strata Pendants. The first step is to choose the colors. This is the damp box where I keep my colored clay. I can put the porcelain in here and it will not dry out. So it's a plaster on the bottom with some water, and it keeps it workable. So it looks like a mess, but I see possibility. I start with a white porcelain clay, and then I color it with mason stains. So it's a powder. So I can choose what colors to make. And these colors are roughly what they will be when it's a finished product. They'll change a little with the glazes on it. So let's choose colors. I'm wanting to do some of the same colors as in this pendant. I pulled out the turquoise that I've already rolled out, and I'm working on a lighter blue. I said it in the damp box that they don't dry out, but it does sometimes get pretty hard. So I have to do some work. That one's about ready to roll out. So I've got my turquoise. Let's move that. Roll out. Nice. Yeah. It's more like a gray. I like having a gray. With the design I have in mind, I think gray will work well. I'm trying to make it roughly the same size as that little turquoise slab that I've already rolled out. And I'm struggling because it's so cold. I can see my breath. And I have a little heater, but it makes a lot of noise. So I turn it off when I start videoing. There's a gray. This black, I can tell it's going to take some work. Look. So I'm going to have to take my spray bottle, spray it, knead it, spray it, knead it, and then it will be at the point where it will be ready to roll out. This black has a little bit of gray in it, and I'm happy with that. It does not need to be, I don't want it to be perfect, because I want it to have like some thicker layers and some thinner layers. You can see here, each one of these lines was a layer of clay, and then I turned it and cut it crosswise. Now the process of putting the colors together to make a stack. I've taken some time to try to get everything about the same moisture content. We spend a lot of time on that in ceramics because as clay dries, it shrinks. Say this gray piece is a lot drier than the turquoise or the green. Then when the whole thing starts to shrink, it will crack and pull apart. So we'll go with blue. Black again. Oops, this flash is stuck. And the yellow. The yellow's a little bit damper, so I didn't spray it with water. Now it's going to get loud. I want all of the pieces to squish together to make contact. Trying to get it into a rectangle shape as much as I can to have more usable pattern. I'll use all the little bits, and sometimes those are more interesting than the clean layers. Okay, so at this point, I think I'm going to cut it and then put the two yellow ends together. Look. So now I'm just going to work on shaping this block. So I'm going to take this in the house because I don't want it to freeze overnight. Freezing clay is not good. So I rolled out the colors, and they're a lot thinner, and I'm building a slab of layers, and some of them are kind of folded over. There you can see. So that will make some neat effects. I'm going to use a piece of black, solid black, and roll a little coil to go inside this. And then I'll work it around the black center. Okay, I have 3 canes to work with here. They look kind of muddy, but when this is sliced, we'll see the vibrant colors. Let's cut some canes. So this one, you can see, it's just got a dark clay on the outside, but when I cut it, we cut straight down the middle-ish. Okay, and the reveal, pretty cool. So I could make round pendants. I can still shape this. I think I'm going to do something like this, kind of like a teardrop shape with this one. And if it gets muddy again, that's fine. After it's bisque fired, I'll sand it, and then it will be bright again. And then when they're glazed, that's when the colors will really pop. And I'm keeping in mind that these will shrink as they dry and in the firing. The bisque firing, the first firing, they'll shrink. They'll shrink in the glaze firing. And each piece, I have to put a place for the toothpick. The toothpick is how I will glaze it. Dip it in glaze or pour glaze over it, and then it will go on kiln safe wire. Can you see? I like that. The water just makes it more workable, and I'm trying to keep the layers from separating. And see, I made it muddy, but colors are still there because the colors are all the way through. It's the neat thing with this technique. I'm not painting the color on. It's all the way through. Ooh, I need my small rolling pin. If you don't have a small rolling pin with you, make one. Teachers always have red pins. I taught music theory for many years and graded many a paper. I do want to get it as clean as I relatively can, because it's easier to move the clay around now than when it's completely hard and fired. Okay. all these bits left over, and they're drying out a bit. I have a little baggie with some water in it. Trying to get the water distributed, and then we're going to make one big piece and then cut it cross sections like I did the others to see what I've made. I could do this just with my hands, but since I'm not out in my studio, I'm in my house, I'm trying to make it less messy. Now let's see. Let's see what we have. So this is kind of recycling all the little bits after I've cut the cane and taken the cross sections. These are the bits that didn't work or that got too hard, the little end bits. And sometimes this is the most interesting thing because there are really unpredictable, beautiful results. Ornaments. These pendants won't be ready for a while because I have to wait till I have a full kiln load. That's interesting. It has that continuous slice, what do you call that? Little layer bit in the middle there. Sometimes I get some designs that I just love, and then sometimes I end up just tossing it all, recycle it. I don't know. Oh, I kind of like that side. Yeah, I think I'll keep that one. What else do we have? Do we like that? Shall I cut it this way? I shall cut it this way. And let's see. Huh? Yeah, that's interesting. It looks almost like a 3D effect, like a little kaleidoscope or something. We'll take that. Oh, I like that one too. Yeah, that's better. It's just design, and what looks good to my eye may not be what looks good to your eye, but that's why there are a lot of different artists. You find who you resonate with. I always like to wear interesting pendants. I guess that's when I decided to make jewelry. I really like doing the functional pottery, throwing pottery, but I'm enjoying these. This is what I got from the scrap pile. There's pattern in the randomness of it all, and they're going to look even better. I keep saying that. When I sand them off and when they're glazed, they'll look even better. I'll show the bisque firing and glaze firing process in another video because this is getting way too long. Here are some examples of the first set of pendants that I did after they're fired. Plan to do another firing in some weeks, and then I'll have pendants and pottery in my shop. Thank you.
What if you get lost and you're taking this on video? If you get lost, it's going to be on video.